let's do this. Hey guys, what is up? My name is Kaylee. Thank you for being here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm super stoked. So last year, this readathon started. I will post down below the host, which is Book Roast, put together this amazing readathon wherein, if you're a Harry Potter fan, as I am, and most of my generation that reads is, where we, us muggles, can take the owls, the extraordinary wizarding level something, feeling like a big fan right now. It's like exams. You take them based on a career path you would like to take as a Hogwarts student, and there are prompts. I believe there are 12 prompts, and each career has a breakdown of what you need in those 12 prompts to become the career path you want. And then in the fall, there's the second readathon that are the newts, and it also lists in your career what newts you have to pass and at what level in order to successfully finish your Hogwarts degree and become the wizard that you want to be. I did not participate last year because I was just getting into BookTube, and by that time I had missed the owls, and so I didn't do the newts. I did not want that to happen again this year, so it's in April. And this is my TBR. So I am not going to do my typical TBR where my family picks from my cart, because so many of these books were in my cart. I'm trying to almost primarily read what I own for this. And despite the fact that I finally did, after like days worth of deciding in my head, I had like a top 3 and I went with something completely different, what my career path would like to be, I would also like to try and read every single book prompted, so all 12 next month. I think it's doable, even if some of these are pretty big tomes. Without further ado, let's see what I've got, and I'll describe the career. So I decided, I thought about being a Hogwarts professor, because I did, little known fact, I had intended in my college degree to end up teaching. I was tutoring writing students. I was about to take the teaching course when I decided to take a break from college and just never went back. So teaching seemed like a good path. Writing would be the obvious choice. Librarian was up there. I thought about going real hard for, I think it's the astronomer or an alchemist, I believe, comes up as like what you need to finish all the prompts. And in the end, I looked through it all and I was like, you know what? I'm a mom and I take care of people all the time. I'm gonna go for healer. Healer's probably middle ground towards the top of being more difficult because you have to do, I believe, 7 prompts total. I think it's, okay, it's 5 categories that you have to do and then 3 that you get to choose your own. So I'll get into which ones I will definitely prioritize as I'm going, I'll tell you. I think, I don't know. I'm a mess right now. In any case, I'm gonna do the healer. I will, if I can, put the prompt up. So the host did this really awesome thing where she put together a booklet of each of the different career paths you can take. And if I had a printer, I'd print it out and show you and keep it because it's so well done. And I mean, the effort that has to go into this is insane levels, and I wish that she could get paid for her work. I will put the thing up here, you probably won't be able to read it, but yeah, basically like you'd work at the hospital and you have to be all these attributes to be like a smart, quick thinker, and which I'm not, and compassionate, which I sort of am, and I don't know, it just seemed to fit what I want to do. So I'm also doing Fantasy-a-thon, which happens from April 5th through the 15th, so that's 10 days within this magical readathon that I have also set aside to complete the Fantasy-a-thon. So I needed to make those books work for me. So some of these prompts, I feel like I'm reaching a little because I don't really know what qualifies, but I think they work. And the reason I'm stating that is to tell you that the first one, Ancient Ruins, which is to read a retelling, I'm doing Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan because I would consider Percy Jackson and like the mythological, anything mythology is technically a retelling from mythology. So I'm counting that. It's not one of the things I have to do to become a healer, but it is a book that I'll be reading for the Fantasy-a-thon, so it's going to happen anyway, but again, it's not a priority for my specific career path. Prompt number 2 is Arithmancy, which is the prompt is to read a book that's written by more than one author, and I have requested Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman via ARC. It doesn't come out till May, so if I get approved from NetGalley for that. That's what I will put in there and count. But I can also listen to Gemina by the same two authors via audiobook, because I'd like to have an audiobook at some point during the month. I like to have at least one during readathons, because it helps when I'm like, I have downtime with chores and stuff where I can't be reading. So that's my other option. Prompt 3 is astronomy, which means that you need a book with star in the title. So I've got Full Dark, No Stars by Stephen King. This is also not a book I need to read for my specific career path, but if I want to get all of my prompts done, this is a good option. Now we're getting into the prompts that I need for my career path. So the next one is Care of Magical Creatures, which is to read a book with a land animal on the cover. This is one of, I've got 4 options that I want to choose from for my 3 optional subject choices. This is probably my least likely to get chosen if I start getting a little overwhelmed in the month, because it's one of my tomes, and that is The Wolf and the Whale by Jordana Max Brodsky. It's big, the text is small, I really want to read it, but to put it in a career path for a full month of a readathon is a little dicey. So if I do read it, it'll come at the end of the month. It's just one of the possible options. So one of 4 options of which I need to read 3. Charms is the next prompt, which is to read an adult work, and I don't have it on me right now, but I have ordered Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It is getting a ton of great hype. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is one of my favorite books of last year. I have high hopes for it, so when I get it, that will be my adult work that will fit in Charms. Charms is one that I have to do in order to become a healer. The prompt for Defense Against the Dark Arts is to read a book that begins with the letter R. This is another one that I have to do to become a healer, and I've picked The Radleys by Matt Haig. I am trying very hard to read all of the books that were already on my TBR cart to kind of 2 birds, 1 stone, and this is one of them, so I know very little about it. I've never read anything by Matt Haig. I've just heard a lot about him, and I've read excerpts, so I'm looking forward to it, but that is my prompt for Defense Against the Dark Arts. The next prompt is Divination, and that is to read a book that's set in the future. This is a prompt that is in my 4 that I will choose from probably on the fly, and I have chosen Warcross by Marie Lu. I did read that it is just a little bit further in the future. I have been meaning to read it, but again, you know how TBRs go, so this will work for that prompt. The prompt for Herbology, which is a prompt that I do have to complete to be a healer, is to read a book with a plant on the cover. So I'm going with my pre-order that I do not have yet, but comes out April 2nd, of Descendant of the Crane by Joan He. I am looking forward to it so much, and it's got both a crane and some like water lilies, I believe, on the cover, so that counts for the plant, and I will have to read it, and that will double also for my fantasy-a-thon. The next prompt is History of Magic, which is one of the 4 that I will choose from. That is to read a book that was published 10 or more years ago. I am going with Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami, a book that I'd really like to get to. I think it'd be nice because I have a lot of fantasy on deck for the month, to have something more contemporary. Well, 1987 or 89 was when it was published, so it definitely qualifies for 10 years ago. This book is basically as old as I am, and I've heard nothing but good things, so this will probably get chosen as one of the 3 additional prompts. The next prompt is Muggle Studies, and this also falls into the 3 that I need to choose from, and it is to read a contemporary. So I'm going to read A Heart in a Body in the World by Deb Coletti. I started this during Contemporary-a-thon right before I got really, really sick with the flu, so I never got to finish, and then just, you know, life happened. And I really liked what I was reading, but then I started to get a little burnt out on contemporary, so I definitely want to finish it. I've literally seen nothing lower than a 5-star for this book, so yes. This completes the 4 possibilities of which I need to choose 3 on, and it will definitely be read, so this is a definite of the 3 choices I have to make. Potions is the next prompt, and it falls into a category of one I have to read in order to become a healer, and the prompt itself is to read a sequel. So I'm going with Death Note. I know it says volume 3, I'm technically on 5, but it's downstairs, so 5 is a sequel in the, you know, you should know what that means. I'm gonna read that because I think I need to break up a lot of these novels with something a little more fast-paced, like a manga. Again, Potions is one I need to read, so that definitely will get read, in the month of April. And last but not least, the 12th prompt, and one that I also need to complete in order to become a healer, and that is Transfiguration. And this will complete both prompts, which is to read a book with red on the cover or that has sprayed edges. And I'm gonna go with Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, sprayed edges. It's technically orange, but there's some red in there as well, so it's like an orangey red. And really looking forward to it. This also doubles with my Fantasy-a-thon, so it was gonna fit into my magical readathon regardless, but it has to happen. It has to happen. Well, okay, aside from the books that I have pre-ordered or will get from the library, this is my magical readathon TBR for the month. So there we go. There's a couple books missing. Wish me luck. Let me know. Are you participating? If you are participating, what are you going to be? What's your career path? Are you prepped for it? Are you reading any of these? That would be pretty cool. I'm so excited. I really believe in myself. I think that I can do it. I think I can do all 12 prompts. Pretty confident. My March TBR did not make me feel confident, but I'm doing pretty well on it, and I'm just a little bit over halfway through the month, so I have full faith in myself for April. I'm feeling real good about it, and I'm so excited. This is such a creative and amazing readathon. I hope that you guys are participating. If you're not, look into it. I will have it linked down below. Thank you for being here, guys. I always appreciate it. Like if you've liked this video, subscribe if you're new here and want to see more content from me. All of my social media links will be down below. Twitter, Instagram, Goodreads, let's be friends. Thanks again, guys. I will see you in April because I will be vlogging weekly. I am committing to it. I will do it. Hopefully. Okay. Bye. Have a great one. I'm going with Death. Whoa, I lifted it wrong.